Hello and welcome to the RWBY podcast. Today we are talking about the Volume 6 trailer and the Volume 5 soundtrack. I am really tired because I was up all night watching Daredevil Season 3. I am the kingpin of crime, Mediocrity 4.
I am confused as to why, out of all the characters from the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe that they could have added into the RWBY universe, they chose Katara. I am dude, what the heck?
And I am hopefully coming to you all loud and clear with my new microphone. I am Robert.
Alright, so we got a trailer. We got a trailer 2 days after we did our GB podcast. And it was announced like literally right after I uploaded that. I was like, God damn it, now we gotta like talk about it in the next podcast.
Which is actually fine because we really went to. I don't have that much to say about the soundtrack if we're being honest. So I'm actually really
I mean, isn't there only like five? Isn't there only like 5 songs or something?
7, I think.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I'll look. I'll actually.
All the same except for one of them. So.
I'll actually Google it and look up the lyrics and stuff when we get to that. When we get ready to cross that bridge. But this trailer gave us some interesting tidbits. It's my original thoughts were pretty negative just because I'm going into this with low expectations. Volume 5. I think we all hate Volume 5 to the point where like we're a little untrusting of Rooster Teeth at this point.
A little,
yeah, just a little.
So. Volume 6, it's gonna make or break it for a lot of people. I know a lot of people that said that, like,
oh yeah,
if this season isn't as good as like the first couple volumes at least, then they're gonna drop the show. I'm too professionally invested in the show at this point to drop it. But it will be a lot harder for me to keep my channel fair and balanced with positive content if it continues down the path of Volume 5, which
according to some people you're already having a real problem with that.
Well, that's because no one watches my Volume 4 videos.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. They forget. Or they just don't pay attention.
Or they don't go, or I've picked up over 2,000 subscribers since then and they just haven't gone back to watch my old videos.
Boo.
Like I finally got secure to watch like my older like Volume 4 content and my old movie reviews that I did last year. But okay, so getting into this trailer, we open up on a landscape shot and first green flag. The sets look pretty freaking good.
Yeah. The first thing I saw was like, okay, some stuff has been improved. That's good.
Well, like you go to Volume 5 and I don't remember if Volume 5 had a trailer like this.
I don't think so.
I don't think so because I think they were working on the Yang character short, which came out like the same day that the Volume 5 Episode 1 did for first members.
Yeah, remember that dumpster fire? Like, what the fuck? Why would they do that?
That was dumb.
So at least they didn't do that this time. At least they had a trailer and it came out before the actual fucking season did. That's good.
But I'm thinking, I remember the Volume 3. I remember Volume 3 had a trailer like this, and I went back and watched the Volume 3 trailer. It wasn't a good trailer. It didn't do a whole lot to get hype, and I think this trailer does kinda. And one of the things is like the improved sets, because all the sets in Volume 5 were dull, every single one of them. You had
boy were they.
In Volume 5 you had reused sets, the reused menagerie sets from Volume 4. Which was already contributing to some of the worst episodes from Volume 4. You had the room, where Team Ranger sits for the entire volume. You had Haven Academy. You had the Bandit Camp, and that was basically. I mean, you had the floating islands, but we didn't go on those islands. They were just set dressings for the aerial fight, and that was only one episode.
Yeah.
Mistral itself was really, really dull. Like, and in that first episode, it's all in like 2D paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like we're getting a lot prettier sets this go around. Some reused sets. There's that Mistral like road, that the road like leading to Mistral that they reused a lot in Volume 4 is in this trailer. During the scene with Superman. I have no don't want to do this out of order.
Yeah, see, in fairness to me, in fairness to them, that stuff doesn't bother me too much, honestly. Like, that's not, I don't mind that.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that like Volume 4 did do good that a lot of people like, I don't know, didn't, or a lot of the people who complained about like the animation of Volume 4 don't realize is that like the landscaping and stuff like that, like that looks pretty good in Volume 4, but yeah. So it's nice that they're getting back to that in Volume 6, clearly. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's just they used it so much, and like sometimes spread out, but sometimes not. Yeah. To where it became like very noticeable that it was just the same like small section of land that they modeled that they just kept on like using and rotating depending on the scene.
Yeah.
But the next scene we have, you have Crow, Team RWBY, and Maz Katara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking through the snow along with Oscar in the back, and
or was she in there too? I didn't realize that.
Maz Katara is on Yang's motorcycle.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out like. Because, I don't know, I'm assuming that scene of them walking through the snow and stuff like that takes place, like, after they were on the train. And so,
yeah, it looks
I'm trying to figure out how Yang got her motorcycle off of that train, which I'm assuming was moving, so...
Well, there's a scene later in the trailer where it looks like the train actually crashes. And we know Team Juniper, John, Ren, and Nora were on that train, and they're not in this shot. Which a lot of people are saying are death flags. I'm not sure. I don't think they would kill off characters like that early on. So I think they're going to get separated somehow.
Yeah, I think they're getting separated.
Yeah.
And I think. So let's theorize. Let's theorize about this Maz Katara looking girl.
Probably Winter Maiden.
A lot of people have been saying Winter Maiden. A lot of people have been saying like the another headmaster or professor. People have been another theory is that she's the genie of the lamp from the Relic of Knowledge, which that would just be so
dumb,
Yeah,
yeah,
why didn't she start with a musical number as soon as she got out? That's dumb.
Also the relic, like shrunk.
It's apparently the relic of shrinking as well as knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were just like, oh, this looks really cool. This looks really cool in Volume 5, but crap, how are they going to carry that thing around? How are they going to carry that? How are they going to transport that thing to Atlas? It shrinks.
Yeah. So, oh goodness, I when I saw that theory, I was just like, why would that? Why would it be the relic?
Stupid.
Oh my god, if I hear one Summer Rose theory about her, Uh,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we are going to punch a bitch if that's
Yeah.
if we keep hearing shit like that, man.
Yeah.
Hell no.
okay, so the next shot we see is looks like the train station. Uh, you got Ruby, Yang, Crow, Weiss, and Nora, and let's comment on the weird half measure that is Weiss's additional clothing, because I really like it. I really like the scarf. I have a thing for scarves. I have a thing for neckwear in general. It's just I'm into it.
Now we know media's fetish.
And you already know I'm into Weiss. And she also has leggings.
I like the scarf too, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I like the scarf. I don't know how... It's the weird thing about the leggings is I think they look fine. Actually, I like the.
I think it all looks fine on her.
Oh yeah, I
The
do
weirdness
too. I actually
is
have
that she's the only one.
only one. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Blake
And
and
she's
Yang
the
are
one
still
that-
exposing full midriff. Ruby hasn't changed her outfit at all. Nora hasn't changed her outfit at all. It's like, why is Weiss the only one
Yeah.
who decided to put on a pair of pants? She should be
Especially
like, if
since
anyone
she's the
isn't
one
putting,
from-
yeah, if anyone isn't putting
It's
on pants,
actually
it should
from
be her.
Atlas. Yeah.
That's another thing. So a
Probably
lot of people.
because they wanted to it or oh.
So I got a comment on Twitter when I expressed disappointment in the trailer, which I've warmed up to the trailer since my initial reaction. I don't know if that came
Okay.
across when I mentioned it earlier.
No, it did. It came across to us, but I think it's worth telling
yeah.
for the audience because
Yeah.
they weren't there for our
Okay,
initial
yeah.
reaction.
Yeah, well, I made my initial reaction known on Twitter, and I have warmed up to it a bit, especially since I went back and watched like the Volume 3 trailer, which was like actually bad. Like, and I like Volume 3. I like the directions it went.
Oh yeah, Volume 3 is, in our correct opinion, the second best season, and in
Yeah.
most people's opinion, the best season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like and like
Fairness, I
and people who
understand why
say
a lot of
yeah.
people- I do understand why
I
a lot
won't
of
argue
people think it's
against
the best.
that. But the trailer was bad. Like this, and you could even
No,
say
you're
it was
right.
made worse by the actual quality of the volume. Like there's parts in that trailer that straight
Yeah.
up lie.
I think we're more worried about this one simply because of how bad Volume 5 was. And
Yes.
some
Yeah,
of the stuff that
definitely.
they said in the interviews recently don't actually make us positive about it.
Yeah, so I got comments about like it. God, I can't remember where I was going with that, but I got some comments. I got some flack for saying that. And I see. I see effort being put into this trailer. I see that. I see a little bit of hope. I'm not going to hope for. I'm going to hope for the best. I'm going to hope for the best, but I'm not going to expect.
Hope for the best, expect the worst.
I'm not going to expect much from this volume.
From my point of view, the more I've watched this trailer, I agree I've warmed up to it, but that there's one thing in this trailer that really pisses me off, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I think we all know what that is. There is one part of the trailer that is undisputably terrible, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
What the fuck
Oh yeah, it's at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of spoiled it for people. But the next shot we see is a bunch of dead White Fang goons.
Yep.
I wonder how that happened. I wonder how Adam's gonna take over the White Fang when he's when there's no White Fang to take over. Like I said this when Adam went down in that one shot, and then I reiterated this during the Volume 5 finale. There's no way Adam becomes a credible threat again.
Yeah, no.
He's damaged goods. He could come into this volume swinging like a madman, killing like top tier huntsmen and killing half the team, and it would still just be an overcorrection for what they did in Volume 4 and Volume 5.
Yeah.
And part of that is the White Fang. The reason why Adam was a threat, like, yes, he's a capable, or was supposed to be a capable fighter in his own right. But the reason why he was like haunting Blake is because he used the White Fang as a weapon. He used it. He had the White Fang support. The White Fang were a veritable army, an army of powerless goons, but an army nonetheless. And that's what Blake feared, and that's why he was being built up as like her main antagonist. He was the embodiment of everything she feared, everything she was running from, everything she hated about herself. And now that's gone. Because he's lost the White Fang, and it looks like he's continuing to lose the White Fang. He's having to kill them. And he's not going to have that support, and he's just going to be another, like, good fighter that they have to fight down the road. That's not... We already have Tyrion. We already have Mercury. We already have Emerald. I know Emerald is probably, like, the weakest of that bunch, from a fighting standpoint. But we already have them. We already have Hazel. We don't know if Watts is a good fighter. If he's a good fighter, then add him in that pile too. Do we actually need Adam at this point?
Nope.
No. I gotta say, like, the thing is, I was very hyped for Adam in volume 5, because after what he did to Yang, it's like, oh man, like, what's it gonna be like to see this guy fight? And now nothing is going to make him cool after knowing that he can get nerfed by Blake like that. There's nothing, no matter how cool he can fight now.
Knowing that he has been nerfed by Blake like that,
It's all bullshit.
Yeah, that's gotta be really careful with how you defeat your villains. You gotta make it
definitely
earned.
Cannot just be a one shot.
You gotta make it earned, and you have to make it like really earned on the hero side. Like they deserve a victory because of how much work they put in, because of how much they've grown. I was up all night watching Daredevil season 3. Not to spoil that for anyone who hasn't had the chance to watch it. It's excellent. I highly recommend the entire series. They're all 3 seasons are 9 out of 10s. Season 1 might be a 10 out of 10.
Season 1's
but they did an amazing job with Daredevil and the villains in season 3. Again, like, I'm not even going to mention who it is, just in case you haven't seen the trailer. It's in the trailer, but if you haven't seen the trailer yet, it's worth it to go in not knowing anything about what's going down in season 3. But that felt really earned because of how much like shit Daredevil gets in that season. Like, he is up against the wall for 11 and a half episodes out of 12 and a half episodes in that season, and he's just not getting a break. But until
I mean,
like
that's something that the Daredevil show's always been good at, is making every single one of his victories feel earned and like hard fought and stuff like that. Like making every single fight feel like, you know, he could potentially lose and stuff like that. Like all those famous, you know, tracking, you know, those famous tracking shots that you have all the time. Those are always
which season 3 probably has
really
the best.
hard fought. Yeah.
Yeah, and not to just brag on Daredevil, but part of that is how like winded Daredevil gets in those fights, and that he is very human, and he can't just keep doing flips like that. That was something that Arrow did that always kind of bugged me about Arrow, where like he's just like going nonstop and stuff, and then they write themselves into a corner because one scene he's like clearing a room without breaking a sweat, without slowing down, and then the next episode, because the plot demands it, he's like getting beat by a pair of thugs. Because the plot so demands it. Daredevil's much more consistent with that, but it also kind of strains credulity. Like, why does he have just as much trouble fighting ninjas as he does fighting biker gangs? That was a season 2 problem. Just the ninja fights weren't really any different than the thug fights. But anyway, enough about Daredevil.
Anyway, yeah.
Because we have another superhero in this trailer. We have Superman.
Apparently, yeah. People bowing to some person.
But the terrible Zack Snyder version where he is just literally Jesus.
Yeah.
Can we
probably
not
more like
theorize
Jesus.
on that at all and not dignify that with theories? Because who cares?
I don't know. Maybe it's like an Ozpin flashback or something, but yeah, it's
Maybe.
like
I've heard
okay,
Ozma
not
flashbacks.
really sure what
I've
to
heard
think.
Watts. I've heard completely new character. I'm leaning towards completely new character, because you know.
I'm leaning toward this looks dumb, and I hope it's not actually important. Because the last times for like new stuff that I was worried about, I've been right about that. I called that Blake having parents was bad. I was so angry when I found out Blake had parents. And what do you know? I was right about that. Not that the parents are bad characters. The fact that she has them was a problem and continues to be a problem.
Or the fact that they didn't explain why she left the two best characters in the show, but yeah.
Oh, what should we be? We are in the right chat. Oops.
Whoops.
Let's go down.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We're dumb.
I'll message him. Anyway, so the next shot is with Emerald, and let's talk about Salem's speech, and you guys say that while I
Tyrion looking at Emerald's boobs.
Tyrion getting really up close and personal, although it kind of looks like it's one of those classic, like, I don't know.
Oh, he's trying to scare He's definitely trying to scare the fuck out of her.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to scare her. I'm trying to think of what it, like, reminds me of, but it's kind of the classic, just, like, you know, take your shot type of thing, where, like, he's getting right, you know, underneath her blades and stuff like that, and so you get the feeling that it's probably some sort of power play or something, like, go ahead, take your shot, kid, and stuff like that or something, but, so... And, like, and then we have Cinder's whole speech, which let's face it, Sorrel probably has been jacking off to it for the last week. Or at least to everything before. Well, yeah. To everything before, but the moment you put your desires before my own, they will be lost to you. He's just been he's had everything before that playing on a loop, jacking off to it. But yeah, so like I don't know.
I totally missed that because in between messaging Secure and jumping back into the chat, I've just been like on the clip just looking at Tyrion's orgasm face. It's totally like he's going like
Yeah. But yeah, so
it is goofy.
I don't know.
Well, let's be honest. Okay. Here's the thing. This to me, I don't think this is much of even theorizing because this is what most people would. It looks like it's Emerald. I'm not saying Emerald's gonna completely turn face or whatever. She might because I've called that since Volume 2.
Yeah.
But. And I'm not the only one. I'm not like saying I'm smart for that. Like tons of people have called that since Volume 2. That's just like it's a very common and it makes sense. It's not a crazy theory either. She's been painted, especially in Volume 3 and Volume 4. She's been painted as the person that she's not really as evil as the rest of them. And she's not comfortable.
Okay.
We know that. We know that. That's just, that's very clear.
Again, I don't know if I'm evil or evil curious, but
yes, I'm not sure if she's going to completely turn face. I know media doesn't like that idea. I've actually always liked that idea. I think Iliad made it worse, but I still always like that idea for Emerald, so I'm still fine with that. Either way, she's not in a good place right now, as we can very clearly see. Something's eventually. I'm not saying she's going to be outed as like not evil enough, but things aren't. I don't think things are going to go well for her. She's not going to be fully on Team Evil by the end of the show. She's either going to be dead, or she's going to be independent, or she's going to try to join the good guys. One of those. Something it's not gonna last for her. It doesn't work. It's
I
not
kind
gonna
of
work for her.
I kind of figured that like what's probably prompting this monologue from Salem and like what's prompting this scene here is like I don't know. I kind of thought it was like Emerald shows up baying for blood and stuff like that because of what happened to Cinder because she thinks Cinder's dead and Tyrion's and like and Salem's all like hey, you know, you can want justice if you want, you can have all this and stuff like that. That's fine, but you don't get to get in the way of my plans. And avenging Cinder does not line up with our plans. We have no more use for Raven. The relic is out in the open and blah blah blah. But like, I don't know. That's what I figured that whole scene was just like Tyrion being all like, no, we're not going for revenge and stuff like that because that's not what needs to happen
I don't
right
know.
now. That's not the priority.
I see Tyrion being the one that's like, oh yeah, let's go out for revenge together. And I actually had this theory while I was getting the screen grabs.
Yeah.
What if Tyrion is like related to Cinder somehow? I know, dumb theory, whatever. Take it or leave it. But
what makes you wonder about that exactly? Like,
I don't know. Just I always thought there was some kind of connection since Volume 4 because they have like the same eyes.
Okay.
But the way he's like walking up to Emerald with that orgasm face and then turns into a scowl, I think he might be coercing her to kind of join Team Tyrion in Team Cinder's stead to like hunt down RWBY.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's just
I don't know.
like-
That is a crapshoot, and if I end up being right, I'm not even going to celebrate. I'm going to be scared of myself. Just playing Judas Priest. Is it Judas Priest that does the I am Nostradamus? I'm just gonna be blasting that song.
Or as Kanye West said, no one man should have all that power.
Yeah, but so like I don't know. But yeah.
We've gotten our theories out on Emerald.
Yeah.
So after that scene, we get a couple action shots. We get some manticores flying past the train, and the two people in the cart with Oscar don't
nice.
react. We get RWBY finally using her semblance after like a volume and a half. I keep forgetting whether she used it in the new Clavi fight or not. I know she used it against the Geist. But even if she used it against the new Clavi,
shot of her running through.
Yeah, even if she used it against the new Clavi, she hasn't used it since. She didn't use it at all in Volume 5.
Yeah.
It's nice to have her actually using it again. That's the best part of the trailer for me.
But so I'm calling it right now, though, that that scene of her running through the train station, the trailer's trying to make it look like super dramatic and intense. I'm calling it right now. It's just her being late. Like that's just her running.
You're probably right because it does look like the train station. It does look like that.
Because person with super speed is always late. Lol, irony. But anyway,
at least she's using it though. Fucking I don't care if that's all it is.
And they also showed her using it like outside the train to fight the Manticores. I thought so. That was kind of cool.
So.
And then the next shot we got Crow slicing a manticore in half with his scythe.
Yeah.
Then we got Jean and Nora just obliterating a Geist, not fucking Geist, a manticore.
Yeah.
We got,
which is good. It's good that Jean's actually getting some wins
with RWBY and that notorious anti-upskirt technology protecting her unmentionables. And they are unmentionables because they do not exist. And then we got...
You see, guys, we don't have fan service on this show.
And then we got another interesting shot. This is one that High Powered wanted to like theorize on a lot.
Team Purple People?
Yeah, we got Team Purple People with with some fat broad sitting down at the table, and someone in a hood that looks like the same outfit Amber wore back in Volume 3.
Yeah.
But I've heard theories that like
My
this
guess
is
they're
Oscar or it's Cinder, or that it's just someone else.
My guess, Good Witch is like sister or something like that.
That's a pretty far guess.
I don't know.
Then we
Good
got
Witch likes purple. They like purple, but yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You guys know how I've gotten to the point with this. I used to be into the. Actually, I never was really that much into super theorizing. I just don't care.
Yeah.
It'll be if they're interesting characters, they'll be interesting characters. If they're not interesting characters, they're not
then we
interesting
got
characters.
then we got the train wreck, and it's very Uncharted 2-esque, except these characters aren't as likable as Nathan Drake, and Nathan Drake is not a likable character, by the way. Don't misconstrue me. He's a prick, but that's why we like him. RWBY, she sees the relic, which is just lying in the snow. Then we're in a room, and it looks like it has bunk bed. I don't know. Maybe this is on the train.
Probably.
It's either on the train or it's the place they were staying before they left, like when they're leaving. That's the two.
Well, Yang's gauntlet like cocks up, like she's getting ready for a fight.
Probably the train then. So probably the train.
And then we got a shot of Salem and Emerald has
Still
the same
more
like
scared
wide-eyed
Emerald.
look.
I'm still going with the Emerald's not.
And it was at this moment that I realized that Salem is freaking stacked.
Yeah, just her posture is just like, oh wow. Yep.
Sock would appreciate this.
Yeah, he would.
Then what's the next scene?
Adam screaming,
Adam
everyone screaming.
And he cut like the throne room chair, but only a little bit, and he missed the spear. Oscar falling in the snow, and then
this is the actual best part of the trailer.
Interesting shot in the trailer.
This is the best part of the trailer.
Is Blake looks like she's reaching for her sword.
Okay, so one of the like minor problems with Volume 3, and to a lesser extent, like all the volumes, but Volume 3 was like very apparent because Volume 3 had a lot of stuff going on, namely in that first shot where they're in the where they get the soup, where they get the ramen, and it has like all the stands and stuff, whatever, the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And you got like all this like stuff in the background moving, but then Team RWBY are just like static, are just stock still, and they're talking, and it's just really distracting. This is the opposite because all the characters, like Weiss is the only one not moving in this scene. And if this were a better show, I would be like, man, this is a really good shot, and it's like really conveying a lot about like their characters. Like Weiss is kind of like stoic, and she's the most distant one from like all of this, from like all of the Ozpin Oscar BS. Like she's the one who's the furthest from it. Blake would be like the next furthest, but you know her subplot was like tied with Adam, and that was just its own level of BS. Blake, it looks like, is reaching for her sword.
Yeah, she is.
Which I am totally fine with.
Oscar is reaching, and it looks like he's reaching for the relic. He's looking in RWBY's direction. It's his left arm that's going out. Which Oscar's right-handed. We know that from the action scenes in Volume 5. So if he were just reaching out to them in general, he would be using his right hand. Yep. And RWBY is like kind of like holding the relic back. She's not moving a whole lot, but she
is kind of recoiling.
There's a couple frames where her arms do move, and they are away from they're moving away from Oscar.
And Yang looks pissed.
Yeah, and Yang looks like she's about to punch a bitch.
Yep.
And then we got another shot. This probably in the train. Jean and Nora are getting like people to safety or something. We get Maz Katara looking at the camera, probably cluing the people into the fact that she's going to be important later on.
Really?
My main theory is I think she's actually just going to be an old lady that they have to escort. Who will then give this is what I hope. Who then just because she's older, because oldness is oldness a word?
I don't know.
I think it's called age.
Yeah,
age.
age.
I was gonna say age.
Can you tell I haven't gotten any sleep in the last like 20 hours?
He is drunk.
I'm not. I'm just tired.
Well, this is the closest you'll ever get to seeing you drunk, media.
Probably.
So we're gonna take it.
I meant to save some soda for the podcast, but I ended up drinking it all while watching Daredevil. So all I have is milk.
Oh, that's not good. No.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm hoping it's not. Why
yeah,
does
but
it
give like yeah, but it gives like words of wisdom to the characters and helps them like actually grow and maybe have actual fucking arcs.
Hey, Weiss will be like, hey guys, I had an arc. It was pretty good. It was the best part of the show. Maybe you should have some too.
Yeah.
Blake would be like, I just had an arc, and it would be like,
Give some wise old lady response like, don't
Blake.
listen to. Give some wise old lady response like, hey, should you really be following the lead of a guy who's been failing at his job for 1,000 years?
Yeah.
1,000 is a pretty conservative estimate.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 years?
Millions, or maybe thousands, or maybe it's an outright hoax.
Yeah.
I know Miles certainly doesn't know how many years Ozpin's been failing.
So I really like the design of the Manticore Grim. We get this little Renora moment. They're holding hands. He's like twirling her, while she's blasting some Grim.
They're not making out, so I'm mad. I wouldn't have even minded if they spoiled it in the trailer.
And then we get this. Okay, so this is a weird shot coming up, and I don't understand why people aren't pointing out how weird it is. Because, okay, so a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, Ruby and Weiss are doing, like, a combination like Ruby and Nora did. It doesn't look anywhere near the same as when Ruby and Nora did it. They're not actually twisting and spiraling with each other. They're moving in very different ways just alongside each other. And also, at the beginning of that shot, they're not really touching.
Yeah.
Which has led me to, like, my first instinct was actually that it was some kind of Grim. That it was some kind of, like, wisp Grim. Although it could be just one of Weiss's summonings. In fact, that's my main theory. That's probably what's most likely, is that it's one of Weiss's summonings that she's using a combo with Ruby on. And then we get like Oscar screaming, Salem, jump cutting to the camera, and then the end of the trailer, or is it? Yeah, it's the end of the trailer. What's the plan, Ruby? Don't let anyone else die.
Someone's totally gonna die.
Not a plan. That's a goal, but that's not a plan.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's just a trailer line. I don't care. I mean, it'd be worse. It'd be better if it was just a trailer line. It's not on the show, but it's gonna be in the show.
There's no context where that works.
So stupid, Miles and Carrie. just for just sake of sounding what you think sounds cool. By the way, it doesn't sound cool, but even if it did, it doesn't mean anything. She's a bad leader if she doesn't have a fucking plan. Now, if she says a plan in the next second after this happens in the show, that'll be better, but I don't think that's what's going to happen anyway. It's still bad. It's still stupid. It's inane and it's fucking retarded. And it's just pointless drama to make people
It's extremely
excited.
vague.
And the stupid people are excited by it, as you can see from Murder of Birds' comment on the trailer.
Yeah.
Nobody, like very few, if anybody's actually complaining about how bad this line is. This is absolutely terrible, and anybody with half a brain should know this is dumb.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like this is,
and
this
it means
is
that someone's totally gonna die this season.
I don't even think it does necessarily, because she's probably still talking. She's probably because it's dumb either way. It's dumb if they kill off a character for no good reason here, if it's a real character.
It could be like background characters that die.
And it's also dumb if she's still referring to Pyrrha. It's dumb no matter what.
Yeah,
it's not a plan.
It's like, okay, so the example I came up with, and this is an example, you can take it or leave it. Avengers: Age of Ultron, which the entire last third of that is they're trying to stop Ultron. Spoiler alert for a 3-year-old movie, almost 4-year-old movie. But let's face it, you've all seen Infinity War, so you know how it ultimately plays out.
Yeah, exactly.
God, that movie made so much money.
I don't mind, dude. I've loved Infinity War.
It was a good movie.
Too. It's so good.
It was
arguably best movie of the decade.
It might actually
I can't wait.
Unbelievable.
I can't wait for Avengers 4.
I'm so excited. Super excited.
But in Age of Ultron, they're like getting the people off of Sokovia, but they don't drop onto the city and be like, save everyone. No, they actually have a plan. They actually like spread out, take it and funnel the Ultron bots here. We gotta like keep them from get our power pieces towards that button that he has to press. Keep him from pressing that. Keep it going until we get every single person off of this city. Get them onto helicarriers. Get them onto airships. Fly them down yourself if you're Iron Man or Vision or Thor. I guess could also fly.
Or just that shot in like the first Avengers. Okay, Cap. Lay it down, and he's all like, Thor, get up there. You have the lightning. And just throws it out, and then Hulk smash. Like, that was good.
Yeah, exactly. They actually had a plan.
Yeah,
it's nice to actually have a real plan. It wasn't don't let everybody die. Like, no shit.
I have a plan. Cover me. Oh God, that would.
And that's the problem with like, just because RWBY has still a relatively indie budget for like their animation stuff like that. Doesn't
mean their writing has to suck.
Like, can you imagine like what kind of things people would have said if they said that in any Avengers movie? What's the plan? Don't let anybody die. Even if they have a plan right after that, how much shit would they get for that? Every movie reviewer would say that's retarded.
No shit. Yeah, exactly.
But don't you know? Disney apparently owns Rotten Tomatoes, which is actually owned by Warner Brothers. So, oh man, guess that puts the holes in that theory.
Yeah.
And
who cares? I loved fucking Infinity War, no matter what Rotten Tomatoes says. I don't even know what the Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it's like 89, which is the same as Winter Soldier.
I liked it more than Winter Soldier. I mean, not that Winter Soldier wasn't good, but
yeah.
Anyway, what do people? Infinity War wasn't a movie; it was an event, and it was a wonderful event.
Kind of. But so here's my like. So from this whole like trailer thing, I think I can pretty much predict what the first like 2 or 3 episodes of RWBY Volume 6 are going to be right now.
All right.
So like, I don't know.
Yeah. Keep in mind that everything in this trailer is going to be in the first 2 or 3 episodes because they don't have anything else done at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
what do you?
So here's what I think. Okay. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking: like, Emerald's gonna show up. She's gonna be baying for blood. They killed her Cinderfu and stuff like that. She's all pissed off about that. I don't know. I'm still going with. I think she's gonna show up baying for blood and stuff like that, and then she's gonna be demanding that they track Raven down and kill her and stuff like that. And Salem's gonna be like, no, that's not necessary. She's gonna be and like she's gonna start to argue with Salem, and then Tyrion's gonna be all like, is gonna get up in her face and be like, try something, bitch. And that's where Salem's gonna have her line of, we're not, we're doing things my way and stuff like that. Don't get in my way and stuff. And she's like, we have no more use for the Spring Maiden. We don't need Raven anymore. So, but you can always get your revenge on, Ruby. And if you want, you can kill her sister or something like that. And and she's all, we need to get that relic. And then it's going to be like, they get on the train. Can you guys hear me okay? Did I break off?
Yep. Nope, I'm just
listening. We
okay.
can hear you just
good.
Fine.
Sorry about that. And so then it's going to be like next episode, later on in that episode, it's going to be all of them on the train and stuff like that, and boarding the train. They run into the old lady. Maybe she's the Winter Maiden. I don't know. And episode 2 is going to be, this fight on the train and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think a portion of it's going to have to be disconnected or something like that. And, Team RWBY is going to be on it. I don't think they're killing off the remainder of Team Juniper. They would save that for the finale of the volume and stuff like that.
Even so, I think that's incredibly lazy if they did that.
Yeah. And I think honestly, knowing them, the train's gonna get disconnected. Team RWBY, the old lady, and Oscar, they're all gonna, and Crow and stuff like that, they're all gonna end up, crashing and gonna have to walk the rest of the way. And I don't want this to be true, but I'm betting it's gonna be true. That's the last we're gonna see of Jean, Ren, and Nora for the rest of the volume until episode 14. Maybe if Rooster Teeth is smart, if Miles and Carrie grow brains, there will be the subplot of Team Juniper arriving at their destination and going looking for Team RWBY and stuff like that. If they're smart, I don't think they will. But this is one of those things I don't want to be right about, but I'm 90% certain that they will. And then the rest of the volume is going to be Oscar being Oscar slowly being taken over by Ozpin, and the rest of the group deciding on whether or not they want to just leave him behind and decide that they don't need him anymore. And I think it's going to be I don't know. I think that probably Blake's going to be at the forefront of wanting to leave him behind, which is going to kind of create conflict between her and Yang, and then they're just going to randomly decide, you know what, they're friends again. And I don't know. And best case scenario, Ozpin I don't know. Best case scenario, Ozpin assumes direct control of Oscar full time, and they decide, you know what, you're bad at your job, we don't need you. Worst case scenario, Oscar fights off Ozpin and does his thing and is a permanent fixture. Middle thing is Ozpin takes over, but they keep him around and stuff like that.
Oh, I don't know, that's just as bad.
I don't know if they at least get rid of. They should at least get rid of one of them. I prefer that they get rid of Oscar.
Well, yeah, I prefer they get rid of Oscar because then people can stop shipping them like fucking retards.
But yeah, that's what I think. The first 3 episodes of the volume are going to be. Is I think Team Juniper is getting shafted. Honestly, they're just gonna toss them aside. But. Really and they're gonna think that that's a good thing, but it's not.
Yeah, even if they're in it a lot less, I don't mind that, but you still need to kind of update us on what's going on with them.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Also, I don't know.
You can't make. I understand the idea of not having so many characters, but you should never have made Team Juniper in the first place. They've become Remember, at this point, and Miles doesn't like timelines, but if you actually count with real timelines. RWBY has spent more time, besides Yang, obviously, has spent more time with Team Ranger than she spent with Team RWBY. And you
Yeah.
cannot just throw that away.
Yeah.
All right?
And I guess one other thing I was thinking about is that sorry. But yeah, one other thing I was thinking about, I don't know. Hopefully, again, this is if they're smart and they don't just completely abandon team, just completely throw Jean, Ren, and Nora off to the side for the rest of the volume after episode 2. I don't know. Something I would kind of like to see happen is that, like, I don't know, they get deserted and stuff like that, and and Jean, Ren, and Nora go looking for, arrive at their destination, then go looking for Team RWBY and stuff like that. And something I would kind of maybe like to see in this is Tyrion basically, like, I don't know, like, and maybe they throw this in like during the initial scene where Emerald shows up begging for blood and stuff like that, and Tyrion's like, "Hey, you need to chill," and he like makes some reference to Jean and stuff like that, how he wanted to kill him but didn't because he had a job to do and stuff like that. And so maybe like during the, I don't know, like while Team Juniper is looking for Team RWBY, like Tyrion and maybe Emerald are like stalking them and stuff like that. Both partially so they can find Team RWBY through them and get to the relic, and also partly because Tyrion secretly wants to kill Jean first chance he gets or something. I don't know. Or take some sort of revenge, like, I don't know. Don't just forget that Tyrion expressed some sort of interest in Jean, and don't just have that be a meaningless throwaway line.
I'd love to see Juniper versus Tyrion. That'd be awesome. I'd be good with that.
Or something like that. So, who knows? But that's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, Team Juniper disappears until episode 14. And Miles and Carrie are idiots.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add about the trailer.
They still like to have so many characters that I actually don't think they would do that. I think I understand they want to like streamline stuff or like, they want to change and move forward. But they
are already doing that by ditching basically the entire Blake subplot.
Yeah, pretty much. That's true. Ilya, Kira,
we found that out at
I'm kind of bummed that we're losing Sun, honestly. I'm kind of bummed that Sun.
I am actually bummed we're losing Sun too.
But I mean, we got Yang, so that, I mean, the reason why we like Sun is because he made Blake's subplot tolerable. But now we have Yang and Weiss for that.
True.
Yeah.
I think, because the thing is, if I'll put it this way.
So listen up. My expectation for this volume is that Yang and to a lesser extent Weiss are on make Blake tolerable duty. That's my job for them.
Here's the thing: as much as, and this is a big deal, if I am willing to
sacrifice. I will say this:
hold on. If they kill off Juniper and Oztard, I will be happy. As much as I love Renora, and as much as I do think that would actually be lazy and dumb because they did make that team extremely important to RWBY. If they kill off both, if Miles and Carrie are just going through this phase of we are going to trim the fuck out of this show and streamline the hell out of it and just make it about the 4 girls. Crow's gone, Ozpin's gone, Oscar's gone, Juniper's gone. I will take that over continuously adding new characters and doing dumb shit like they were doing before.
My problem with that is that if they did that, it would almost definitely be so they could then make Team Coffee important in season 7.
No, because if they did that, they're literally trimming the entire show down. No. If they got rid of Juniper, they literally, they would do it just to trim the show down completely. So no, I do not think they would make Coffee important after that. Because that means they would understand that you don't want anything superfluous whatsoever. And it would go too far. So I would be okay with that if that happened. I don't think it's going to happen. I unfortunately think they're not going to kill Oztard off either. I mean, even if they just got rid of him, I'd be happy. I don't know if they. Obviously, you can see from the comments in the trailer that they have to be aware that everybody hated Volume 5 because, oh my god, it's the one good thing about the RWBY fandom is it seems like nobody.
They're
most
starting to
people like Volume 5.
realize that Volume 5 was garbage and that the show's always had problems.
Hashtag RWBY was always broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RWBY was
But-
always broken.
I don't know if that means they're going to realize that everybody hates that Oscard is like one of the worst characters ever
Yeah.
because he's really genuinely terrible and it just makes the show worse. So
I don't know. I want them to keep Juniper around and stuff like
I
that.
do want them to keep Juniper around.
I'm
I'm
still invested in their characters, but
I am too.
yeah, it is possible. But I do see what you're saying that like they might go and like too far, like too much of an overcorrection. It's all like
no, because
okay.
I agree with you. I like Juniper. I love Renora. They're a big part of why I like this show. Even though they've disappeared in season 5, even though they
pretty
were
much
great in Volume 4, they're from my favorite episode in the whole show, and what we all agree is one of the top 3 episodes from the whole show. I think.
Yeah.
Is Kuroyuri. That
I think
was
it's my number 2.
Nora's. That is the Ren and Nora episode.
My number 1. Yeah.
It was my number 3 if I remember correctly.
And if you're telling me like they did all that and that's one of the best episodes the show ever had, and now they just either get killed off for no reason or they're just gone, like that's bullshit. That's dumb. Like
especially since their idea of constructive criticism is I like this character, show them more.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I actually don't think they're going to completely ignore Juniper for the whole volume. I hope I'm right. And the reason I say that isn't out of hopefulness, because you guys know I'm not a positive person with this show right now. It's because they're still the type of, they don't like to get rid of they like to always be showing characters. And I do think they're at least smart enough to know. I do honestly think Carrie at least is smart enough to know that RWBY has spent a lot of time with Ranger, and you can't just get rid of them. Even if they're showing a lot less, which is fine. That is fine. I do not mind that. That is, if any, that might be a good thing.
That's preferable.
To be there every once in a while. They will be the B plot, like what Blake was, because they've obviously have really enjoyed having a B plot for the last 2 volumes, and I'm not against having a B plot. So that's fine. So I think that's what's going to happen. The thing is, the best case scenario is they do show Juniper periodically, and they get rid of Oscar.
Yeah.
Because he's so... And for people who are listening and they don't know why we're hating on Oscar so much, first of all, Oscar's a terribly written character. They got rid of his inciting incident. You can't come back from that. And Ozpin is terrible because it's... And and again, you guys... I remember Robert now agrees with me this. I called this that they should have just killed off Ozpin. Because the problem is... He's just leading the characters. You can't. The characters need.
He's undermining RWBY's role in the whole thing. So
he's undermining RWBY's role. He is telling them what to do. You cannot keep having an adult character telling the other characters what to do.
Which is why I keep saying they need to kill off Crow, and I don't know. I don't think they will. Like, they need to either just shove Ozpin into the background or make him a secondary antagonist. I mean,
look at the 2 most successful fantasy book series of all time. Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a wise wizard character, but he does not ride with them the entire journey in either series. The characters have to go off on their own and make their own decisions. It feels like the characters are making the decisions. They are making things happen. Frodo and Sam are the ones that get the ring into the fire, into Mount Doom.
Yeah.
It's the
real reason why Obi-Wan died. It's the real reason why Obi-Wan died.
Doesn't Frodo think that Gandalf was dead that entire time until after the journey is done?
Yeah. Frodo thinks Gandalf is dead until like after he destroys the ring and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
God, Lord of the Rings is so good.
It really
It
is.
fucking
It
amazing.
really is. I want to do a podcast on those movies sometime because those are what got me into filmmaking and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway,
one of the only series where the movie series is nearly as good as the book series. In a different way, obviously, but still really amazing.
So just as impactful to its
medium. It's just as impactful, yes. It's definitely just as impactful. And in Harry Potter, they literally kill off Dumbledore, so Harry has to do shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert for like a 12-year-old movie.
And Hermione is still doing a lot of things for him, which that little complaint is legitimate, but I don't really mind it. It's the idea of you need friends to help you. That's fine. Yeah. But the kids still have to do shit. Okay?
Yep.
And even in the book series where Dumbledore is like guiding them the whole time, and in books 5 and 6 where Dumbledore is doing a lot of things with Harry,
they still have to figure it all out.
There's still a lot going on where he has to do a lot of things on his own. Like it doesn't. I read those books, and I've read those books many times, and I never feel like Dumbledore is just
telling them to sit in a room,
holding Harry's hand,
telling them to sit in a room and wait for the plot to call them.
Yeah, I never get that feeling. And RWBY,
you never feel like he's waiting, like they're waiting for the plot to come to them.
Yeah,
in the form of Dumbledore.
I feel like that's what's happening. They literally just relying on Ozpin and Crow, and I loved Crow involved. I actually really like Crow. I think he's a funny, interesting character.
Yeah, he's a fun character.
But get rid of him. Get rid of him. But fucking get rid of him. He can't.
There's a reason why one of the best several of the best episodes from Volume 4 involved Crow literally being unable to do anything because he's poisoned. There's a reason why they poisoned him. Like from a storyteller standpoint, the reason why he was poisoned was so that Team Ranger would have to fight the new Clavi on their own.
Yeah. And I do want to say this, I'm actually okay with Crow being involved in, like, I don't know, of all the problems that I have with, like, the Battle of Haven and stuff like that and how awful everything in that was, I'm actually okay with Crow being involved in that and stuff like that.
I'm even okay with, like, Oscar being involved in that, or Ozpin. I'm okay with Ozpin being involved with that because it kind of evened the odds.
Yeah, like, I kind of understand that, and, like, I don't know. And, like, the fact that they even the odds, I don't think they need it. I don't know. I don't think they should have had, like...
It made the victory more believable, but it also made the victory more unbelievable because they nerfed every single character. RWBY doesn't use their semblance. Oscar
beats a headmaster despite only having a month of training.
Yeah.
Also, that's something else I noticed about this trailer is that I'm noticing, like, no action shots with Oscar in them, which on the one hand is maybe a good thing because it's like, okay, fine, they're nerfing him if anyone needed to be nerfed. Well, I mean, technically there's
no action shots with Blake either.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe I'm wrong, but it's kind of, I don't know. I was kind of like, so maybe they're nerfing him. If anyone needed to be nerfed, it was him. But at the same time, it's also kind of like hey, remember when this kid fought a headmaster and basically won, and that headmaster went on to beat Crow? Why isn't he getting in on these fights? So
I just want to say that I'm not okay with any of those characters being a part of anything.
Crow Oscar just needs to go, and
I am not okay with Ozpin, Oscar, and Crow being a part of the Battle for Haven. I'm not okay with any of that.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I'm not.
All right, let's. I don't have any. I don't have any final thoughts on the trailer.
Those are my thoughts.
I'm ready to get into
it's kind of refreshing to have Dude being more optimistic than me. That's kind of refreshing, and it's probably a good thing.
I have to agree with media that, like, the more I look at this trailer, the more good actual signs there are, and to me, the worst part of
I said, it's good to see Tyrion back, and it looks like they're getting rid of. They're doing something with Oscar. Hopefully, getting rid of him, maybe giving him more character development, which would be okay. But yeah,
I really like the idea of them all being mad at him in that scene. If that's really the case, and let's be honest, with Maya,
them hopefully doubting his loyalties and hopefully finally getting rid of him.
I mean, I hope that Ozpin is actually, like, legitimately a bad guy, so they have to get rid of him. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd be okay with him becoming
Like,
a secondary antagonist.
I am
About it,
Not
interested.
like
I am
idea of
interested.
him-
That shot alone got me interested in this volume. Like I'm
Yeah, me too.
genuinely curious what the context for that scene is.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
true, and I feel the same way. The line at the end is really stupid still, but
yeah,
if they are all actually scared / angry or annoyed at Oxtard, oh my god, color me in for this volume.
yeah,
Because that was the thing that bothers me the most. And if they're going to have issues with that character, that would be wonderful. Like, to me, honestly, the best thing they could do is seeing Oscar slowly being consumed by Ozpin, and he is tragically completely consumed by Ozpin, and then they kill him. Oh my god, that'd be amazing. Can we like talk about how?
except for then he just jump into another body. But yeah,
Yeah, but that'd be real. Or okay, fine, imprison him forever. That's still really tragic,
Yeah.
and it's still the sad. I don't have really that much sympathy for Oscar because he has no character. But if they actually start to give him some character, and then they have him taken over by Ozpin, that would be amazing. I'd be on
Yeah.
board with that. And by the way, for the record, because they already ruined his character, it is giving him character, having him develop, and then having him fight off Ozpin and then become a part of the team. No, that's not okay. That's not okay.
yeah.
Because they already ruined his character. The only way you can kind of save him is just by making him like tragic.
Giving
That's-
him a nice little same thing. And this is kind of the same thing with Adam. Actually, give him a nice send off.
Yeah, you can
Give him
a
some
nice-
redemption through death. Except for his redemption would only be in the fandom's eyes.
Yeah. So, but I
But
agree that
anyway.
that scene alone has made me much more positive on this trailer and this volume possibly being decent. So
Yeah.
that one that line at the end from RWBY, "Don't let anybody die," is stupid, but otherwise I think it's actually a pretty there's some good signs actually. I'm not saying it's going to be a great volume. I hope it is. I really hope it is. I would love to be
Yeah.
I would love to go back and read and
I would
what
love to
said
be as
during
wrong
volume
about the about volume 6 as I was about volume 5.
Yes, exactly. I would love to be that wrong. We will
Yeah.
all happily and joyously eat our words. I will put milk in the bowl and eat it like cereal. Okay? If this volume is great. And anybody can say that we were wrong, and we will happily agree with you if this volume is great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are some decent signs.
So are
but
we about
there's still some worrying signs too. We're not
Yeah.
So are we about ready to get into the soundtrack?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so before we do that, this video's sponsor is me, and if you want to support me, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I will be having videos at a much more consistent rate, starting in late October, early November.
Yep.
Really kind of depends on how the next couple days go financially for me. How much time I'm able to dedicate to the YouTube. But I will be streaming Red Dead Redemption 2 the day it comes out because I pre-ordered that motherfucker.
Nice.
And I am ready, I am hyped, and I am wanting to give my first impressions with all of you here on YouTube. That'll be Thursday. I'm not sure of the time. Follow me on Twitter. I'll have details there. I'll have details on the Discord, and I'll try to have details on Facebook, though I always end up forgetting to post stuff on Facebook. But I'll have more announcements going forward. I'll have my next the top 10 worst scenes in Volume 1 video. I'll have that done by then, and I'll have like a little announcement at the end of that about the stream. And the reason why I'm saying this now and not just scheduling it is because it's on PS4. It's not on PC. And PS4 doesn't let you schedule streams, so I have to like get the news out this way. Otherwise, people just won't even know I'm streaming. All right. With that announcement out of the way, let's talk about this this trailer or this soundtrack. Only
We heard
seven.
what,
Only
2
7 songs. Yeah, only 7 songs.
And only 2 of them played in the actual show?
Yeah.
Or 3? 2, 3?
Okay, so 3 of them are trailer songs. Then one of them is the opening. And 2 of them played in the show. And the other one, I think, also
Set
played
the
in the
fandom
show.
on fire.
Yeah, the other one did play. It was in the credits. So they actually all did play within like Volume 5, if you also count the trailers. The Weiss, Blake, and Yang character shorts. So the first song is the
overview thing, real quick, before we get into the actual songs.
Yeah, sure.
I'm getting really sick of the RWBY soundtracks. Like, I'm sorry, Jeff Williams. Like, you're getting like complacent, and you're just pumping out the same shit every volume now. And it's not to say that you don't write like great songs.
He's running out of gas.
Songs, like when I listen to all these songs individually, I don't really dislike any of them. It's not like he's a bad songwriter at all. Like, he's actually probably more talented than he even realizes. Because even these songs are just, I think they're just lazily pumped out, and they're still all decent. Like when I have to listen to them individually. Problem is,
there's one I
creativity
really don't
and
like.
diversity that was there in the first 3, especially the first 2 volumes. Well, actually, no, especially the first 3 volumes.
Yeah, because like Volume 3
there are no pop
had the neon
songs, there are
song
no
and stuff.
little jazzy ballads, there are no show tunes. There's nothing but double bass, kind of emo-ish rock, kind of metal stuff. That's all that's in this.
Yeah.
Except
butt
for
rock.
one song.
It was all butt rock.
Yeah, it's double bass butt rock. That's it. That's all that's here. And it's boring. And we're sick of it. And it's not interesting anymore. It's not even different. It's all the same thing. All this choruses sound so similar now for a lot of them. Like I get songs confused now. Like what happened to Dream? Like what's the one? Dream Come True. Boop, which is still my favorite song from the entire RWBY soundtrack canon, is Boop. The Neo song.
You mean Neon?
Yeah, Neon. Sorry, yeah, Neon. My bad. Neo song. Neon.
Neo song is The Sound of Silence.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one who thought that.
Hers is the Disturbed version. Which is actually really good, by the way. Even if you hate metal, listen to Disturbed's version of Sound of Silence.
It is good.
So yeah, like there's nothing. All of these songs sound the fucking same now.
Yeah.
And they just aren't as good as like, if you're gonna listen to a generic RWBY rock song, then the best one is still the intro song from Volume 1.
Yeah.
It still is. It's still the best one. So all these songs sound the same now, and it's boring, and I don't care anymore. I just don't listen. I used to buy the soundtracks. I haven't bought the Volume 4 or the Volume 5 soundtrack because I don't care. There's nothing interesting.
Yeah.
All the first 3 all had diversity and an interesting bunch of different creative things that he was doing.
Yeah, I didn't like the Volume 4 soundtrack that much, though. Let's Just Live is my favorite Jeff Williams song. That was the one bright spot on that soundtrack.
Yeah. I actually don't even like Let's Just Live that much. And now if in his defense, he might be being told to do this. He might be told that to not do any happy songs or something like that. That is possible. Either way, the soundtrack has suffered greatly. So that's what I want to say. Is that I'm not going to be positive here very much. The only one I like is the ballad because it's a more jazzy song where they did the kind of brushes thing. That's the only new thing they've done this volume. That's a new thing for them. Is doing the kind of more jazzy ballad with like a brush feel, like brushes on drums instead of no drums, or just like really slow generic 4 on the floor drums. So I like that. That is actually probably one of my favorite ballads in the whole show. So that's the one song I'll probably be actually genuinely positive on.
Yeah. So the first song is The Triumph, and What an oxymoronic name for the main song of Volume 5.
The absolute worst volume of the entire show, yeah.
And this song it's my least favorite song on the soundtrack. It's my least favorite opening. I've made that clear from like day freaking one when I saw it in theater, when I saw the Volume 5 premiere in theaters. This song is trite. It is garbage. It is the worst song. I won't say it's the worst song Jeff Williams has done. I won't say it's the worst song on all these soundtracks. But it's far and away the worst opening song.
Can we clarify that it's much worse lyrically than it is musically?
Yeah, and Casey's lyrics are completely drowned out. You can't even make out what she's saying unless you look at the lyrics.
Yeah.
And you don't want to
look at the lyrics. And it feels like it's just like, I don't know. It almost feels like it's them saying, okay, we know you guys had problems with Volume 4. We promise we're going to get back to all that stuff you guys really like, even though they didn't actually get back to any of the stuff that people really like.
And also,
worse action scenes.
Like, don't worry, we're going to give you empty victories and pointless action scenes. That's what you want, right?
Well, they did give us an empty victory. I mean, that was the emptiest of all victories.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they did give that. They did give the fan that, but they realized that without the subs, that empty of a victory, even the average RWBY viewer was not happy with that. Which, good job, average RWBY viewer. You guys let them know that they were wrong. So good job.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, the only reason we're not average RWBY viewers, at least I'm speaking for myself, is just because we analyze everything so insanely much. I am an average viewer of many other shows, and I'm not as critical of those shows as I am of this show because I analyze this one more. So I don't mean average viewer means average intelligent.
Guys,
it just means
people watching this, especially people like not to name names, but people like Perfect Harbinger or Sorrel or Dragon Age 2 for the win. You guys don't want to see me hold RWBY to the same standards I hold my other TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah, no.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And when I said, well, for average viewer does not mean average. I'm not trying to insult people like that. I just mean average means they're not as invested as we are. They don't watch every episode as many times as we do and stuff like that. That's what Now, in fairness, Robert did go to school. You went to college and you did do a major in what was
critical analysis. So
critical analysis. So Robert is more qualified than most people to criticize TV shows and books.
I'm a teacher, so I grade things for a living.
You grade things for a living.
Yeah.
I'm a substitute teacher,
I majored in history
whatever.
and graduated magna cum laude, so I do understand, basic writing and I can analyze things extremely well. So we are actually pretty good at this sort of thing. But my point is that average just means that you're not as invested as we are. So I would probably be the same. And in a lot of other shows, I might be prone to being the way the average fan of RWBY is too, where we want, just more action scenes and stuff like that. So I don't say the fandom is wrong for wanting that kind of stuff. So I'm glad that the fandom, even in general, they knew that this is not what they actually wanted in Volume 5. So it's good to see that everybody basically was against Rooster Teeth with Volume 5. I think that's a good thing. I'm very proud and happy with the fandom for that overall.
Yeah.
And like you said, this song is kind of the poster child for that because it's musically, I actually like it, especially the beginning. Like I kind of like the kick drum and the voice thing at the beginning. That actually,
but the lyrics are just
awesome.
Empty and
exactly. Yeah. But the lyrics are so inane that it really ruins the song.
Yeah.
Like musically, it's actually. I actually like it I like it more than the Volume 4 song. Musically, I don't like the Volume 4 intro very much. I think it's really generic and repetitive as musically as a song. I don't like it. I actually like this one, even though it is the generic double bass thing. But I think it's at least there's something different for the intro for it. The like I said, just the kick drum thing. I like that. But yes, the lyrics are so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also does the same problem I had with When It Falls, the Volume 3 opening, where it's clear that Jeff Williams just wrote like the minute and a half version, and then when it came time to actually put the album together, it's like, crap, I have to
Shit.
tack on another minute and a half to this.
Oh yeah.
This emptiness.
Yeah. Like I'm just looking at the lyrics, just looking for something to latch onto, other than like the thing that just I read way too much into one of the last verses. It's actually the chorus. The can't wish away the dismal days, can't bring back what is gone. Won't waste more tears on yesteryears, instead we'll carry on. We'll win for sure, we're sure we will endure. That is, oh god, that's so clunky. And though I know I said that a lot when we talked about Lionized in the previous podcast, like just clunky lyrics. We'll be the ones to touch the sun, the triumph will be ours. This is just me reading way too much into it, but there's this kind of like meta arrogance about that. Like, they don't care about what people liked about the first 3 volumes. They're going to just do their own thing. Again, this is just me reading way too much into it.
I do think it's. I mean, it kind of fits with what the volume was, though, because like
there's nothing else in the song to grab onto.
Yeah. I mean, it's because
a lot of the stuff is just like, moody. It's just a moody version of "Let's Just Live" in a lot of places.
Yeah.
The line lost and forlorn, impossible odds. That's when you'll learn you've been messing with gods. Yeah. I swore that was messing with us throughout the entire volume until I just looked at the lyrics. I was like,
yeah. And like that
aren't the
line,
gods like
though,
helping you
like...
guys though? Aren't they the ones who like quote unquote cursed Ozpin with this reincarnation cycle until he beat Salem?
Yeah.
Like
big air quotes there on cursed. But yeah, and they're like, I don't know. And
cursed us.
It feels like one of those things where just like, oh yeah, there's this big yeah, they're kind of like, you know, oh yeah, there's this big struggle, but then we just win. And it's like, yeah, no, that's actually pretty much how this volume went. Well, not even how the volume went, how the last 4 episodes of the volume went. Big struggle, and then they just won. Well, kind of struggle, and then they just won.
Well, at least the volume 4 finale, they actually struggled during the fight. Holy shit.
Yeah. I guess we're supposed to feel like it was a struggle, even though the villains look just as winded and like they were just in just as much trouble as the heroes were at the very end. So yeah, no, yeah, not even really a struggle. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So the next song is Ignite, which is the song from the Yang character short.
It's basically just really.
I do. I think it's a better I think on the whole, it's a better version of Armed and Ready. And I'm going to get some comments for that.
It sounds like 2 other songs that Jeff's already put in the soundtracks.
Yeah, it just feels like another.
I'm okay with it because it's a character song.
See, as for musically,
I'm okay. I'm
okay with that. Musically, I'm not okay with that. I mean, I am still actually a semi-professional. Yeah. I am actually a semi-professional musician. For those that don't know, I do get paid.
I'm okay with
not
songs.
Full time, but
yeah,
I do still get paid to play music.
Yeah.
And so musically, I look at these soundtracks much more musically than lyrically. So it's nice that we have guys that look at it, you know.
I talk about it, like thematically.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. So musically, this song is unacceptable because it sounds like 2 other songs. It sounds like Armed and Ready, and it sounds like
iBurn. A little bit.
It sounds a little bit like Bitter, but it sounds a lot like to me it reminds me a lot of what's the one from Volume 3 that's Emerald and Mercury song? Sounds like that one.
I'm the One.
Yeah, sounds like that one. It sounds like that song. Even more than it sounds like I Burn.
It's structured like iBurn.
It's structured like how it's got the
It's
same
it's a
double
lot
bass thing.
fast. It's a lot faster than iBurn, but it does have like the Lamar Hall
No,
rap at the
I don't think it
end.
sounds like I Burn. I think it sounds like Armed and Ready and I'm the One. It sounds like both of those songs to me. Very
Yeah,
similar.
it's just structured like iBurn because it has like the bass chorus and then the Lamar
So
Hall rap.
musically, it's boring as all get out.
Yeah, I'm okay with character songs like having the same chord progression so long as it like because you can listen to like I Burn, Armed and Ready, and then this as one song. I'm okay with that. I wish they would have done what they do with the White songs and actually had it be like part one and part two, or like what they did with Red Like Roses. In the Red Like Roses part one and part two don't sound at all like.
Oh my god! Why can't we have a song like Red Like Roses Part 2 again?
Together.
How good was Red Like Roses Part 2? Holy shit!
Arguably the best in the whole shebang.
Oh my god, that song is so good. Like, why can't we have songs that good anymore?
But
like the fact that we have to defend this, like talking about how like it sounds like 2 or 3 other songs. Like, let's be honest, like that's unacceptable. That really is unacceptable for a soundtrack song to sound so similar to other songs. It's just not okay.
Like, yeah, why? Because like, from a filmmaking standpoint, why not just reuse those scores? Why not just use?
Why have a new song?
Yeah. Well, you know, like they use the chords for Divide. Is it Divide? Yeah, Divide every time that Salem's on screen, because that's her theme.
And that's fine. That's okay, because it's a motif.
Yeah, Mirror Mirror is the motif for Weiss. From Shadows is the motif for Blake.
Is completely fine.
Gang has 3 songs that sound somewhat the same,
and
but they're all
to another song.
Yeah, and also sound the same as her rival's song.
Yeah, which that whatever.
Yeah. I'm looking at lyrics now. I like the way this song starts off with the drums. Hello there, my enemy. Welcome to my punching spree. It actually things actually rhyme.
No, the starting's the best part. The beginning is the best part. I agree. I like the little drum fill. And there's actually a lot of awkward drumming on this soundtrack, like as there's on every soundtrack. I don't know if Jeff plays the drums himself. I don't know who he gets to do the drums. I don't know if it's him or somebody else. One of the main instrument I play is drums. I also play piano and guitar a bit. The main instrument I play is drums, though, and I can tell you in every single volume, there's some truly terrible drum fills in every single soundtrack. And I know, sorry to be rude, but it's like genuinely any musician, like a real musician, will tell you there's some bad and awkward drum parts in every single volume. I don't know why. If Jeff's doing it himself, I guess I could understand because it saves him money. But if he's hiring a drummer, they need a new drummer. Like technically, the drummer can do the double bass stuff and the speed fine. I don't see them struggling. I mean, obviously you have editing, but there's a lot of really awkward drum fills and drum parts. This one's fine, but even in this soundtrack, there's some pretty bad fills. So I just wanted to point that out because I don't know if any other musicians have noticed that there's some really bad drum parts, specifically really awkward drum fills in these soundtracks. I think the worst one was in whenever I think of you. It's like one of the Pierre John songs.
Dream Come True.
Yeah, when they come back in from like the first chorus, the drum fill on that is god awful. It should have been cut. But yeah, this one is actually a good drum intro. So I agree that's kind of the best part. I think that using the horns here is awkward. I don't think it adds anything. I think he's just doing it to try to make the soundtrack sound more diverse. And I don't think it really works on this one. I forget, he does it in another song or two, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work like it does in Boop. Like Boop, it makes it a show tune, and that sounds awesome. I don't think it works here.
I like some of the lyrics. Like there's a little verse in here about like messing with her family means that you're soon your history. The moments of your life are fleeting. I like that couple of lines. A lot of it's just, a lot of it's the same kind of things that she was saying in Armed and Ready, but with a lot more consistency and without the weird like junior references that made absolutely no sense and
Yeah, that's true. That
made
was
me
dumb.
really hate the last minute of that song. There's nothing like that. It's a little bit more consistent on that front. Apparently, add this to the thing that apparently exists in the RWBY world. Alcatraz gets name dropped.
There's a lot of interesting name drops in.
We should. You know what? We made a joke about that. We were talking about the first two soundtracks, and we never actually made a list. We need to like go back and actually like make a list one of these days. Like weird things that Otis Redding, yeah, Super Saiyan, Johnny Blaze, aka Ghost Rider, Human Torch. So apparently, like Marvel Comics exists.
He also references Bernard Pretty Purdy. Who, if you don't know who that is, he's a drummer famous for the Purdy Shuffle, which you can hear most noticeably on Babylon Sisters by Steely Dan. Now, I can make fun of Jeff, and well, not make fun of, but criticize Jeff for losing his creativity in the last couple of volumes. But my God, that's a top tier fucking reference because that song is amazing.
Oh my god, the Otis Redding mention in the coffee song, Caffeine, like what Otis Redding, Otis Redding, like what, why? Because Otis Redding is like a really cool, smooth, old school bluesy R&B guy, not whatever Caffeine was. But I mean, it's still a cool name drop because I really like Otis Redding.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much time. It's a lot of the same stuff as Armed and Ready. You mess with her, she's gonna beat you up. You mess with RWBY, she's gonna beat you up. Yeah, and a lot of stuff with her eyes in this. And it reuses that the quote that was in the Yang character short about scathing eyes and symmetry. I'm looking for it again. Yeah, that quote, they reused that for parts of the lines. So I think we're ready to go on to the next song, which is Path to Isolation, aka Mirror 0.5.
Wait, here's my biggest problem with this song.
As in it's half as good as Mirror.
Okay, here's there's a lot of problems. The biggest problem I have with this is, to me, it's just a worse version of This Life Is Mine. Because it has that same structure of it's like the ballad into like the rock song. That's what makes it different, like structure, like musically, from Mirror. So it sounds to me more like a worse version of This Life Is Mine. The other thing is it's unnecessary. Why do we need another white song? This Life Is Mine sounded like the conclusion to like that part of her arc. Why do we need her saying the same shit again? It makes no sense. Like, why do you even have it? The song is pointless. And it's just a word. Like, This Life Is Mine, I fucking loved that song. Like, that song, and Bumblebee, and like Morning Follows Night are the three reasons that I still actually kind of like the Volume 4 soundtrack. Even if it wasn't as diverse, at least it had Bumblebee, by the way, because that's at least kind of a pop song. This song is way worse than This Life Is Mine. This doesn't have the same power and impact, and it's unnecessary when that song already exists.
Yeah, and especially so it's such a... It only existed for that character short, and it was like what Weiss was like before Volume 1, but as much as I think we need a little bit more of that, this is not the time. This was not the time. This volume, like Weiss was I hesitate to say excellent. She was good in volume 5, and it didn't
she's one of the only
get a whole lot into her backstory. Like this is something that should have been saved for volume 6. Maybe this is the song they'll do like an acoustic version for volume 6, for the volume 6 soundtrack, since volume 6 is going to be a lot more about Weiss, because the acoustic song they did for this soundtrack was actually Gold, which was a Yang song from the volume 1 soundtrack. That was about like her and Ruby's relationship. And volume 5, like that was allegedly a major part of volume 5. What was supposed to be about Yang's character growth and her relationship with Ruby, but nothing stuck because volume 5 sucked.
Yeah, I mean, this song musically is fine. Like, the White songs are pretty much always at least decent musically. Like, they're some of the more consistent songs in terms of, like, music. Like, the Yang ones, I think, are not as good. I think the last one, Ignite, isn't a bad song. I think the jazzy vibe to, like, that heavy of a rock, that quick of a rock song doesn't work personally, but it's not terrible. It's not as bad. Like, see, here's the thing with this volume. It's consistently whatever. Last volume, there's some Ice songs that I think were really good. Like Morning Follows Night was great musically and lyrically. This Life Is Mine was great musically and lyrically. And I actually really liked Bumblebee. Even if you're not a Bumblebee shipper, like that song is actually cute, and it's cute. It's a fun little pop song. At least it's different. But there's also two of the two songs that are the worst songs on any Jeff Williams soundtrack. Bad Luck Charm and Lucis Naturi. Oh my god, Lucis Naturi is such an awkward and terrible song. It's so bad. So at least this volume doesn't have anything like that. So like Path to Isolation musically is actually pretty decent. I don't really have any problems with it, but it doesn't hit me the same way that like, you know, Mirror Mirror Part 1 does, or This Life Is Mine does.
Yeah, Discord died on Robert, by the way.
Oh.
So if he comes back, he comes back. If not, then the show must go on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next song, oh man, this is the one that Robert wanted to talk about the most. Smile. The Ilya song. Ooh. Okay, so this song does have a lot more to grab onto. It's from the perspective of Ilya's parents, who, if you remember from Volume 5, Blake said your parents wouldn't want this, and that was like something that like triggered Ilya's face turn. But these lyrics make her parents out to be sociopaths.
Yeah, these lyrics are interesting.
So let's take that. I'm actually going to read off the lyrics for this one, just to kind of prove the point. Child, our daughter, sit while we talk a while. You've done no misdeed, still they'll put your life on trial. In other words, you're an oppressed minority. You're an oppressed minority. Born like your family, far from any state of grace. You're as perfect as the wind and sky. Try moving to Missouri and saying that, but they'll treat like you're out of place. Again, like racism. You're going to be oppressed. The world is cold. The powers with those who would judge and control. But we have a chance to make it right for you. This is what you'll do. Show them how you smile. It's only for a while. God, that's like rhyming 101. Take what you need. Take what you need.
Does Jeff realize you don't have to rhyme in music? Like, you don't have to do that. Like, most rock songs, a lot of rock songs don't have any rhyming. You don't. It's not rap.
Yeah. Take what you need. Leave them to bleed. Let them know bitter while your revenge is sweet.
Pretty creepy.
This is some Fisher Tiger marching up to Mary Joie stuff. No, this is some Arlong Park stuff. I've been reading One Piece, and I'm in the Fishman Island saga. Uh, keep the secret, pretending you're just like them. Live there like a princess in the kingdom of selfish men. Play their game now. Do what it takes to win. Steal it back all they keep from you. They refuse to look beyond your skin. This is some Killmonger stuff.
Yeah.
And as you grow, you'll gain from their knowledge, but your heart will know. When the time is right to end the lie, you'll know what to do. When the charade is through, show them how you smile. It's only for a while. Take what you need. Leave them to bleed. Let them know bitter while your revenge is sweet. You might think that maybe they're changing. You'll pray that their hatred is waning. That's when it hurts most to find. The story unfolds and their cruelty is exposed. You'll be glad you're not their kind. That's racist.
Oh yeah, no, it's very racist.
That is straight up
Very
racist to
obviously racist.
humanity.
Those sound like the 14 words of power.
Oh, high power
just
here.
replace white people with faunus.
Yeah, it's very racist. Musically, I'm just gonna touch on that real quick.
Yeah, we're on Smile now. High
I
power
like
if you're
the
chipping
I
in.
like the sort of like almost like East Asian or African-y kind of little drum thing. I just like the percussion-y kind of and like ethereal opening. But once it gets into the rock part again, it's just generic rock again. It's boring. Like I would have actually preferred if they kept it more in the way the intro is and just kind of amped that up a little bit. I don't know why he feels the need always has to go into generic butt rock. Why?
People like generic butt rock.
Yeah, it's boring. It's dumb. So that's all I have to say about musically. Lyrically, it's creepy and disgusting.
So Ilia's parents were actually racist and indoctrinated their daughter into the White Fang.
Yep.
Into the more radical elements of the White Fang. Take that however you want. Because I've dumped that bag of worms a couple times and I'm not dumping it again here. This is what affirmative action gets you. Next song is All Things Must Die, the Cinder X Raven song. Not that I ship it, but if you have any fan art, I would appreciate it.
There's a lot of good Cinder X Raven fan art floating around out there.
I've seen it. It's good stuff. It's also like really hilarious. So this is like the most butt rockiest song on the soundtrack. And it has a lot of like lyrics that are taken from from This'll Be the Day. Like it rephrases the bloody evolution line. Actually reminds me a lot of When It Falls, how it like opens with the softer piano music and then it like, this is the end, here's where you'll die, legend should scatter. Yeah.
And I like that one, and I have to admit, I kind of am going against everything that I'm criticizing about this volume soundtrack when I say I actually like this song musically. It just feels like he put a little bit more effort into it. Now, it still goes along with my criticism of the soundtrack overall because it sounds like another song that he's already written. It follows a similar structure to another song he's already written, and it still ends up. It's still the same thing of starting, either just straight generic butt rock or starting with something softer and then going into generic butt rock. But at least musically, I do actually kind of like this one a little bit more. For some reason, the melody's a little bit more unique, and it's like just really, really dark and even the rock part. It doesn't sound as generic rocky to me because it sounds more like a soundtrack kind of chorus-y kind of thing. in a rock song, so I kind of like that. So, of all the generic rock songs on this soundtrack, I think this is probably my favorite.
This is one of those songs that has like the least weird lore implications too of what's on the soundtrack, right? I'm trying to remember.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just all things must. I mean, all things must die doesn't leave a whole lot of room for interpretation.
Yeah, no, lyrically, it's generic. It's nothing interesting for lyrically. Definitely not nothing interesting. Like I said, it's not a great song. It doesn't. It still doesn't stand out the way, like even last. Like I said, even last volume, which I'd say was probably. I don't know. Was Volume 3 or Volume 4 soundtrack better? Do you guys think?
I wouldn't know because I didn't listen to either of them.
I think the God.
Either way,
I think the Volume 4 soundtrack. I don't know because Volume 4 had the two worst songs on it.
Yeah, they had
but I
worst songs
remember
of the whole-
more from the Volume 4 soundtrack than I remember from the Volume 3 soundtrack. I remember quite a bit from the Volume 3. I remember I'm the One. I remember It's My Turn a little bit. The Neon
like
song. When
I'm
It
looking
Falls.
at it, and the only ones I really like from Volume 4 are, or from Volume 3, sorry. I think I actually liked When It Falls. I like It's My Turn. I love Neon.
Divide. Divide is my favorite song on
and
that
Divide.
soundtrack.
And I really like Divide. I think Divide's one of the best rock songs he did. And I don't dislike Mirror Mirror Part 2. But I really don't like Not Fall in Love with You, even though I like that he at least tried to do another pop song on that soundtrack. But Volume 4, I like.
Let's Just Live. This Life Is Mine.
I love This Life Is Mine, and I love Like Morning Follows Night. And I love Bumblebee. I love all three of those. So they're kind of equal to me, I guess. Although I'd say the worst from Volume 4 is worse than the worst from Volume 3, because the worst from Volume 3 is Not Fall in Love with You, which is not as bad. It's still it's still a pretty bad song, though, musically at least. But Volume 5 doesn't even have anything that stands out like that. Like if this is probably my favorite song from this volume. And that's the problem. It's like it's kind of like I don't really. No, actually, All That Matters is my favorite. So this is my second favorite. But I still don't really. I'm not gonna like go out and listen to this.
You're cutting out there, dude.
Oh, so I was trying to say, this is probably my second favorite song from this volume soundtrack because All That Matters is I think the best one. But it's still like I'm not gonna go seek it out. It doesn't really leave an impression on me. Just when I listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, this is better than I thought this entire volume soundtrack was. It's not really it's not necessarily a positive.
Yeah, so this time, so the next song is This Time, which is another Blake song, and it's supposed to be her and Gira. And it's basically exactly what you would think it is. It's I'm pretty sure it reuses some quotes from like Gira speech early on in Volume 5. And it's like, this time we're going to do it right and not be taken over by radical White Fang extremists. I'm not opening that can of worms, I swear. I already did that in my Honest Look at White Fang, which you can find on my YouTube channel. Just have to scroll down a little bit. Or look at the Honest Look playlist, which I have on my channel, and you can find it pretty easily.
It's a great playlist. The problem with this one is they say it's from Shadows Part 2, but it doesn't actually share the uniqueness that From Shadows Part 1 has.
Which was the techno riff.
The techno riff. Like, where's that? And I'm a guy that I obviously prefer actual instruments because I am a musician myself. I don't like how rock music has turned into just alternative programming with a darker sound than pop music. It's terrible.
I think Razorfist is onto something when he says we've been in the same place culturally since the mid 1990s.
Yeah, but I still like that Jeff Williams as a single artist. I like that for a soundtrack. For soundtracks and stuff like that. He does a bunch of different stuff. Where sometimes he has techno, sometimes he has poppy songs with instruments. There's a lot of diversity. You look at the Volume 1 soundtrack, there's tons of like techno-y stuff. And that was awesome. Like, it was really cool. It worked for it. That's the thing that made From Shadows interesting, I think, in a lot of ways. And the dynamic back and forth and all that stuff, and the kind of ethereal piano stuff combined with the techno. That's awesome. This doesn't have that. It has the ethereal piano. Oh, and then more generic butt rock. No, this is not a worthy successor to From Shadows Part 1. At all. So lyrically, I couldn't give less of a shit. I don't know if it's good or not. Mita, you can tell me if it's good lyrically or not. I don't even care.
I wouldn't know because I haven't listened to this song.
Yeah, this is why you said you were gonna skip out on us.
Yeah, I did.
And then
but
you
I saw
decided
y'all
to
in here,
ambush
I'm
us
just gonna
anyway.
hop in. What did you expect? I control this server. And I'm also making breakfast right now.
There is literally nothing we can do about it. You come and go as you please, Patrick Bow Wow. Great, now I'm thinking about that. So, lyrically, this is the song I've listened to the least, just because musically it's the least interesting song to me. I'm looking at the lyrics now, it's just the rise up from shadows and into the light works. Out of the ashes a new flame ignite. I feel like that's a reference to Yang. Maybe I'm reading it too far into this because her song is called Ignite. It's just like, it's just forming a new brotherhood and stuff and doing it right this time.
Yeah.
So the last song is my personal favorite on the soundtrack. All That
My
Matters.
personal favorite as well. I'd say this is the one song that actually stands out and is
I
unique.
might like it for the wrong reasons.
Oh. I like it for, I think, the right reasons. In that, musically, it's a ballad song, but it's definitely it's by far Jeff Williams' most unique ballad to appear on any of the RWBY soundtracks. And that's interesting because all the other songs on this volume are just completely generic in the worst way. Like, even the other one that I liked, still I don't really remember it. Like, I just listened to it like, okay, this is better than the other songs on the soundtrack. Like, then the other, like, but it's better than I thought it was, Let's do it. This one I actually remember and I look for it. Because it's a ballad, but it's actually like kind of a swingy, jazzy kind of
It's
ballad.
very somber. It's the most somber song. It's even more somber than Home, from the Volume 4 soundtrack, or Cold from Volume 3. And that somberness leads into why I like it. This song is so pathetic. I love it. I like I said, I love it for the wrong reason. I love it
What
because
do you mean by pathetic?
The entire song is woe is me. I know you're probably going to leave me again anyway, but it's okay because you're here now. This is a Bumblebee song, but it's the anti-Bumblebee. It's the anti-BMLB.
It is the anti-Bumblebee song.
Whatever.
I actually kind of like it for that reason too.
It's sad. It's depressing.
It's very sad.
It is a downer of a song, but there's something like sweet and earnest about it as well. But it's pathetic in that endeavor, and it's just, maybe it's because I relate to it. No, that can't be it. But I certainly did latch onto it when I found oh god, there's the line where it's like you'll probably
Well,
I never know if you'll come through, then you appear together, we're here, and that's all that matters somehow. I'm looking for the other lyric, give me a minute. Though that thought that I could pull you from the shadows, maybe help you find your wings and fly, but you're a path The longer that I travel, the more I'm just defeated. My past mistakes repeated. I'll risk it once again to have you near my side. Another chance to let you just destroy my pride.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Oh, Yang, you poor girl. Oh, you are so lucky Sun's not going to be in the next volume.
Man, I'm still surprised that Yang
This
hasn't
made me into a Bumblebee shipper just because of how pathetic this song makes
And
that relationship out to be.
Here's another thing I kind of like. I like that it's the most actually like kind of sad and pathetic lyrics out of a lot of the songs. Honestly, I'd say the saddest song is probably Red Like Roses Part 2, actually. But this is close.
Well, that was like angst.
Yeah,
that
it's
was like
angsty,
that was
but
like a
still,
Linkin Park song, you know.
That's a good Linkin Park song though. But I like that like the chorus is actually really catchy in this one too. This is definitely his catchiest ballads. It's a slow ballad song, but it doesn't sound like that. It sounds almost like a little jazzy tune. And so the chorus is actually really catchy in this one. Like this is the one melody that I actually remember from this volume, and I actually like will like can sing to myself. You know, da 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 da.
Yeah,
Like
you're
that's
lost,
a good melody.
you're found, you're
Yeah.
hard
And
to
in,
pin down. Don't worry, Yang, I'm sure she's into it.
that that's a good melody. Like that's like his most of the time his ballad melodies are kind of generic. Even like and not just generic in terms of like all the Ruby songs, like generic just in terms of music. They're not that creative. He makes a lot of other really creative songs, but usually the ballads are kind of a letdown. People just like them because they're they're emotional emo. That's really the most time why people like them. So I don't usually go for the, although the last ballad song was pretty good too, actually. Like, so actually the funny thing is the last two ballad songs I actually like. I liked Home and I like this one. Those are probably my two favorite ballads. But this one has like actually has a kind of a more upbeat feel to it. 'Cause it's got that jazzy swing beat to it. But it doesn't. It's not actually upbeat. It's actually more bluesy because the lyrics are actually really sad and pathetic. So I really like all of that intertwined into this song. This is by far my favorite song from this volume soundtrack. This is actually a good one. This is better than than all the other ballads, maybe except for Home, in my opinion. And I think it's actually probably technically better than that one too. This is actually a great Jeff Williams song. I
Yeah,
really love this
I haven't been able to really think about this song critically just because of like how perfect this song is for my interpretation of Blake and how I write Blake. Like you can look up my fanfiction right now. I actually co-opted lyrics in the song into a one shot called All That Matters, which is
Really?
actually about Blake's daughter. Because Blake's like basically an absentee parent in the RWBY On series, where she's just always out on missions, and she's on missions that she feels like she's the only one who could do it because she knows these people, because it's like ex-White Fang people that are involved, and her family's involved, or the villains like got her parents involved, and so she feels like obligated to stop them, and she basically sacrifices her relationship with her daughter Nova in doing so, and for many years like Nova's like in this constant cycle of like being sad to like being in denial about like no she's not leaving us again, to being angry when she does leave, to like doing things like hurting herself, hurting people, getting in fights to try to like get her mom to come back home, to being like depressed. But before she gets to that acceptance phase, Blake always comes back and the cycle starts all over again, until something happens that I'm actually going to be getting into pretty soon in RWBY On, in the next like month or so, when I actually expand on that one shot and turn it into like a full on like 7 to 14 chapter miniseries, which you can check out on fanfiction.net slash mediocrity4. It's the RWBY On I'm the RWBY On fanfiction guy, and it's going to be called All That Matters. And this has been my characterization of Blake since I started really writing Blake almost 3 years ago now. But especially when I started doing the next generation stuff with RWBY on Generations, which I started well over a year ago. I think I started that around the same time that Volume 4 was wrapping up. Is when I started doing RWBY on Generations. And that's when I started like really narrowing down like this is the dynamic that Nova and Blake have. And then this song comes and it's just perfect for that. It's a perfect fit.
Your headcanon was confirmed.
Yes, Blake is a shitty person. And people shouldn't trust her. But they will because they're gullible and pathetic and sad just like Yang is.
And they like cute cat ears.
Yes. That always helps. So that's all I have to say about this song. Talking about it again has got me really excited to finish up this current arc in RWBY on Home because I'm going to take a break from like the mainline story and write all that matters in between this arc that I'm wrapping up. In the next, I think I have like 3 chapters left to write in this arc. And before I start the next arc, I'll be doing All That Matters.
Can I also just say real quick, and not to give Sorel any ammo, but I have been of the opinion that a lot of the times Jeff Williams does know more about the characters than the writers do. And I'm glad to see that this song at least is kind of feels like he's a little bit back at it again. Because in this one,
that doesn't mean that the plot stuff is canon because these are not plot. None of these songs are plot centric.
No.
But the I think the emotions and the characterizations are. I would not be surprised. This song kind of turned me into a Bumblebee shipper. I still prefer Black Sun. But
I've always been
I
a
would
Bumblebee
not be
shipper.
surprised.
I'm a banana
if...
split mass.
Yes.
Is my preferred ship.
Of course it is. That's the one true ship.
It is the one true ship. It's not the purest though.
No. The one true ship is Heated Excitement.
Is that Ruby Rose and her scythe?
No, that's everyone.
Oh.
It's a really smutty fan fiction that I happen to know about. Not that I've actually read it. I've been on the community long enough to know that this is when I was doing like just that casually. This is one that people were like forwarding to me for inspiration.
Well, I mean, I used to be a little bit like Sorel, not as crazy as he is, obviously, but I used to be like this because the soundtracks were much more canon-esque in the beginning than they are now. I think like they're it was much easier to make the argument for the soundtracks being canon back through Volume 3, I would say, and then after that, well, not really anymore, and you could kind of pick holes and stuff after that. But like through Volume 3, you could kind of make it. You could make an argument, I feel like, that the soundtracks were canon. And because Jeff Williams did seem to understand the characters a lot of times more than the writers did, and some stuff that he wrote did come true. Boop is essentially canon, because what is written in Boop has essentially unfolded in the show. Boop is essentially the beginning. Boop happened. Keep in mind, Boop is from Volume 2. What is said in Boop was confirmed in Volume 3 in the first episode with Nora's crazy, delirious speech, and Volume 4 with Kuruyuri. So Boop is essentially canon because it's been like this stuff actually happened in the show. So sometimes Jeff does actually know what's going to happen, but not always. Like you can't actually, they're not, soundtracks aren't actually canon unless stuff gets confirmed eventually. I'm not using it anymore to like say this must be canon.
Yeah, because Jeff Williams is not involved in the script writing
especially
process.
a song like Bumblebee. Like I love the song Bumblebee. It's a cute, fun pop song, but
he wrote that as filler. He wrote that as filler. He wrote that because Volume 4 needed another song.
And it's a good one. I'm happy we got it. It's a cute song. Even if you don't ship Bumblebee, you should. It's a fun song. I like it's upbeat. It's poppy. I like it. But this one actually kind of feels like it could be something that I'm not saying it's gonna that it means that Bumblebee's gonna happen, but it could mean that this could be how
it could mean that Yang is going to have very conflicted emotions about Blake.
Yes. I'm not saying I'm not trying to
discovering some things about herself, like the fact that her and Blake do have things in common. They both like tuna.
It has happened before. Jeff has predicted. He has kind of known stuff that is going to happen.
I was hoping for a bigger reaction from that.
You know, here's the thing. I think a big reason why a lot of this like idea where people are like, "Oh, the songs are canon," is I bet you money that whatever Jeff Williams is there writing like the songs, he probably will spend like he'll probably sit down with Miles and Carrie for like a good hour or two and like ask him like, "Oh, this is the song I want to write," and then he just starts asking them questions. And so he might be getting like some more detail, or by talking to Miles and Carrie, he's like extrapolating out information. I don't know. That's just my assumption. It seems reasonable though, because he probably has to go to them and be like, "Hey, this is the finished."
Oh no, he definitely gets information. I know that. I'm pretty sure that's been confirmed. They do give him some sort of synopsis. I'm pretty sure that is true. That he does know stuff.
No, do y'all hear the bacon cooking in the background?
Yes.
All right, good.
Yeah. Oh man. So that's it for the soundtrack. Those I mean, we got like a gold acoustic version, our remixes for Armed and Ready and Let's Just Live, and then the score, which
I don't care about the remixes.
Yeah, I don't care about the scores, and I really don't care about the remixes. So I think that's it for us. I think we could call it a day, and I think I could finally go to sleep after being up for 22 straight hours.
Jesus Christ, you didn't go to bed after like 1 o'clock last night?
No.
Holy crap.
I stayed up and watched all of Daredevil Season 3 pretty much.
Ugh. Go to bed. Your name's been called.
I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of my current setup, but my like couch bed thing is literally right behind my chair, right behind my computer chair.
Did we stop recording?
No. You'll all see it when we start doing the camera videos for next week. So to wrap this up, if you like this video and you want to see more, like the video, comment your thoughts. What did you think about the soundtrack? What did you think about the trailer? You can ask us questions at our new email, rubyandbeyond@gmail.com. Link will be in the, or not a link, but it'll be in the description. Not that anyone ever reads the description of a video anyway.
Right.
And yeah, comment. I got the Red Dead Redemption 2 string coming up in a few days. Volume 6 is starting. The release order for my videos. Podcast will go up on Sunday nights. After it comes out for first members. If you want like first raw thoughts, that's where to get them. I will not have screen grabs during the podcast because of spoilers and copyright, and because it won't be available for first members at the time.
We're doing video podcasts again when it starts.
Yeah. But I mean, even when I did the video, I would like find a place to like put the slideshow, but that's not gonna happen for these podcasts because I don't want to
risk the biscuit.
Yeah, I don't want to risk copyright stuff. And my reviews, my actual scripted reviews, which I'll be sitting on for a couple days after the podcast, before I actually record it and stuff, they will go up the Saturday that it is available for everyone, 10 a.m. Central Time. I'll have them done. I'll do the whole thing on Friday, and I'll even like stay up late on Friday night if I have to get it done. To get those reviews out at the exact same time that those episodes are available for everyone on the Rooster Teeth website, which you will have to go to watch RWBY. I don't want to hear any of this YouTube spoiler. Fuck YouTube. It's not going to be on YouTube.
Those YouTube brainlets
It's not going to be on YouTube at least until the volume is either over or halfway over. I don't know. It's really up to them, but it's not coming out on YouTube 1 week later like previous volumes were.
Wait, the YouTube people will be replaced with Crunchyroll people.
Yeah. You can watch it on Crunchyroll along with your other weeb hipster anime trash shows. I'm gonna get some comments, assuming you guys made it this far. But if you guys made it this far, you probably already know my opinions on certain things.
You already know how we are. If you made this
far. Anything else? I'll have more different types of videos out starting again like late October. I'm thinking well, I'm gonna continue doing these like 10 type videos. Like I got top 10 worst scenes in RWBY Volume 1 coming out Tuesday. Top 10 best
YouTubers that have sworn.
Top 10 best RWBY Volume 1 scenes will be the last in that series, and that'll be not this coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday after that. And then I'll start doing other top 10s, like maybe top 10 worst RWBY YouTubers. That's a joke. I'm not going to do that video. Or am I? It's really up to whoever can convince me which is the better idea to do or not to do. But I want to do a video on Psycho for Halloween. I want to see if I can pull that together in time for Halloween. Because Psycho's one of those movies I've been kind of sitting on ideas for a video on that since the beginning of my channel. It was when I first tried doing the MIS. That was one of the poll options that got beat out by Star Wars for my very first Star Wars video I did. Yeah, that's it for me.
I have nothing to plug.
Yeah. All right.
Media stuff.
All I would have to plug is join the Discord and send us emails, which I need to check the email.
I think we got one, but I'm kind of saving those for like when we're all here and actually talking about the show proper instead of just padding it out with random nonsense and talking about Daredevil Season 3. Anyway, I'm Mediocrity4. Thanks for watching.